Hi, I'm Beth Blackerby at violinlab.com, and this video is a tutorial on the sad romance or sad violin. Either title, you put that in the YouTube search engine and you will find this lovely piece. And someone drew my attention to it. I now use it as a teaching piece. It's wonderful for practicing long sustained bowings and melodic phrasing. So the second part of this video, which will happen very soon, is a demonstration, and it'll be a close-up of the fingerboard. I have tapes on the fingerboard. You may not have tapes, but this will help you stay oriented to where the notes are. I will be saying the note names, and I will have the graphic of the music along with it. Now, I do have a transcription of this piece with bowings and fingerings that I've done as a PDF file, and I have an MP3 file of the accompaniment to practice with. Both you can find at violinlab.com. Just go to the resources page and you will be directed to the page where all the PDF and MP3 files are, and you can download those yourself for practice. So without further ado, this piece starts on an E, open E, fourth finger on the A string. Either way, that's not an ideal fingering, and not we usually don't play open E's for long note values. The note is so shrill. So with this, we're going to start with our hand in fourth position. Now, don't be afraid if you haven't shifted or you don't know positions. It's okay. This is a really simple way to start. It's just for this introduction. So we're going to be putting our first finger where our fourth finger usually goes on the A string. So that's an E, that note is an E, so I'm going to put my first finger where that E goes. And then after we play that introduction, we come back to first position. Later in the piece, there are two spots where we have to shift again. We'll be shifting to third position. The notes will be on the E string, and so we'll be moving our first finger to where the third finger usually goes, which is an A, and you'll be substituting first finger, so that first finger will be playing an A in third position. The second finger will be playing a B, and then the third finger will be playing C. It's really close to the B, it's a half step away. So if you can play these three notes and just get used to these notes, then that'll make that shift much easier. After the demonstration, I'll give another tutorial on how to make it sound really beautiful. So this is the demo. E, 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 G, E, 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 G, again, E, 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 G, now shift, E, D, C, B, G, A, B, C, B, C, D, B, G, E, G, A, G, F, E, A, B, C, B, C, D, B, G, E, G, open A. Get your first finger ready. A, B, C, B, C, D, B, G, E, G, fourth finger A, G, F, G, A, B, C, B, C, D, fourth finger E, B, G, open A. Second finger is hovering, C, B, A. Get first finger ready on the D. E, G, G, C, B, A, G, F, E, F, G, D, E, D, C, D, E, G, E, G, A, B, A, B, C, B, A, G, E, G, fourth finger A, G, F, E, D, E, F, E, D, C, B, A. Cross over E, B, G, A. Get third finger hovering. C, B, A. Now it repeats. A, B, C. B, C, D, B, G. E, G, A. G, F, E. A, B, C. B, C, D, B, G, E, G, open A. Get your first finger ready. A, B, C. B, C, D, B, G, E, G. Fourth finger A, G, F, G. A, B, C. B, C, D. Fourth finger E, B, G. Open A. Second finger is hovering. C, B, A. Get first finger ready on the D. E, G, G. C, B, A. G, F, E. F, G, D, E. D, C, D, E, G. E, G, A. B. A, B, C. B, A, G. E, G, fourth finger A. G, F, E. D, E, F. E, D, C, B, A. Cross over E, B, G, A. Get third finger hovering. C, B, A. We're going to shift. E, G, G. Now shift up to the C. C, B, A. Back down. G, F, E. F, G, D, E. D, C, D, E, G. E, G, A. Now we're getting ready to shift. G, B. A, B, C. B, A. Fourth finger G. Now down we go. E, G, A. G, F, E. Third finger. D, E, F. E, D, C. B, A. B, G, A. C, B, A. D, E, C, B, G, A. Now I'd like to give you a couple tips on how you can make this sound very beautiful. This is in a slow tempo. It's in 3/4 time. So we have 3 beats in a measure, and frequently you have 2 beats in one bow followed by a bow with only 1 beat in it. That's unequal bow distribution, unequal bow speed, because for 2 beats our bow has to go slower, and then it's followed by a quicker bow because we only have 1 beat. So you see that all through this entire piece. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So when you have something like this, typically what can happen is that that third beat is too loud because that quickened bow speed will make that note louder. So we have to compensate. And we have to make the first bow a little heavier and then the up bow, the third beat, lighter. So what I want you to do is to think that you're moving your hand through water. And on the first two beats, your hand is underneath the water, and then on the third beat, it floats on top of the water. So basically what we're doing is we're altering our pressure, the amount of weight going into the string. So sinking down, now floating on top, sink, and you can practice this with a scale. So it's always good to take a technique that's presented in a piece of music, take it away from that music, put it in the context of a scale so that you can put all your focus into that technique. So I would have students play an A minor scale, it's an A minor, so why not, and play that bow stroke. So 1, 2, 3, heavy, light, heavy, light. And hopefully you're using full bows. That's the way we're really going to get a beautiful legato sound, is you have to be using the whole bow stroke. The whole bow strokes are more successful if they're going straight, because when a bow is traveling in a straight path, and what I mean by straight is I really mean that it's really going perpendicular to the strings. So when the bow is moving in this path that creates this perpendicular movement in relationship to the strings, then what we have is a consistent contact point. It means that our bow is consistently the same distance from the bridge and the fingerboard. It's not changing around. So when the bow goes crooked, then our sounding point changes, and then it alters the sound. Now there are times when we purposefully change the sound, but ideally we want to have this consistency. So practice just that bowing. Practice these full bow strokes with really paying close attention to the weight, how much weight you're putting into the string, how the bow is traveling, and it will make this more beautiful. The slurs, we have many slurs in here. There's the first one. Here's another one. Here's another slur. A lot of times with my students, I see that slurred figures, they tend to stop or hesitate with a bow in the middle of a slur. So the change of finger puts a little disruption, a teeny little pause in the flow of bow speed. Pause, pause. And a string crossing. String crossings can do the same thing. So you want to be aware of that and make sure that you're not stopping the flow of bow speed. So keeping that momentum going through the bow. Another thing that I see with students is that they will divide the bow into unequal lengths. So for these slurs, here's a common mistake I see, and that is my students will sometimes use all their bow on the first note of the slur, and then there's just a teeny amount of bow left for the second part of the slur. So that's called unequal bow distribution. Bow distribution is a very broad topic, and it applies to many different scenarios. But in this case, what I mean is they're not distributing the bow evenly. So if you have two equal note values, those were equal notes, you want to try to divide your bow into equal parts. So half and half. You have two notes, divide the bow into halves. So half of the bow, half of the bow. Now, 3/4 of the bow, because this note's longer. 1/4 of the bow. Half and half. Half and half. Half and half. 3/4, 1/4. So if you give a little attention to that, to how you're distributing those notes, how much bow you're using, and your bow divisions, it will make the sound very smooth, very even, very legato, continuous. We want to develop the ability to play play very melodically. It sounds very musical that way. So I hope those tips will help you and help you play this piece beautifully.